Hey guys, this is Alan, back again with another video. Today I will be showing you how to flash your Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or Note 8 with the latest Oreo firmware. Now, there's some important notes. One, the Oreo firmware is on bootloader version 3. So if you flash bootloader version 3 firmware on your device, you won't be able to go back down to a firmware with bootloader version 2, which is okay because Oreo, in terms of performance, is way better on these devices. Trust me. Alright, and 2, for the Oreo firmware, there are new versions of Odin that has to be used. The older versions will not support the Oreo firmware. Okay? So those two things. Now, this process I'm going to show you, you can do two things. You can flash your device with unbranded firmware, or you can flash your device with branded firmware. Now, in my case, I have a AT&T branded Note 8. I don't care for the bloatware. I don't care for voice over LTE or Wi-Fi calling. I don't care for those things. So I just want a clean Samsung experience on my phone. So I'm going to be flashing unbranded firmware. Alright, now if you want to just reinstall a carrier firmware, you can do the same thing. The same steps apply. Alright, so in the description there's a link, which I have in my notepad here. Just click on that link. It's going to take you to the private Google Drive folder. And there are 4 files. One is the modded Odin, version 3.13. The modded Odin is for flashing unbranded firmware to your carrier device. The second file is the regular Odin 3.13, which is to flash carrier branded firmware only. Alright, third file is SamFirm, which allows you to download the latest firmware for a specific model and region. Okay, and it's way faster than these websites hosting the firmware files. And the last one is the Samsung USB driver for Windows. Now, you should install these. If you flash with Odin before on your computer, then most likely you don't need to install them. But if you're not sure, or if you haven't flashed a Samsung phone on your computer already, you want to install these. So on each tile, just click on the down arrow. That's going to download everything that we need here. Alright, so those 4 files are downloaded. Now I may have already downloaded these. Yep, I sure did. So I have duplicates. So I'm going to get rid of my duplicates, just so I can go through the whole process with you guys. Okay, so once you download those 4 files from the Google Drive folder, you end up with this. Alright, like I said before, the Samsung USB drivers, if you're not sure, or if you haven't flashed a Samsung phone on your computer before, install these. Basically, you just open up this application, you click next, 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 install, and that's it. That's all to that. I won't be going through that because I already installed that on my computer. Now, you have 3 zip files. We need to extract each one. So right click each one and extract all. All right. So now we have 3 unzipped folders. Now, like I told you earlier, I'm going to be flashing my AT&T branded Note 8 to the unbranded firmware. So that means I have to download the latest unbranded firmware. Okay, so this is where SamFirm 0.3.6 comes in. So you want to double click on the SamFirm folder, then double click on the SamFirm application. All right, and we get a interface like this. Now, we want to have this checked on auto. All right, and we want check CRC32. We want that checked, and we want decrypt automatically checked as well. All right, so what this tool does is find the latest firmware version for you. You don't have to do any searching whatsoever. So in my case, I want to download the unbranded firmware. Unbranded firmware comes from the unlocked Note 8 model. In my case, that would be the N950U1. So SM-N950U1. That is the unlocked model for the Note 8. So what I'm going to put here in the model is SM-N950U1. Region, I don't want AT&T because I don't want AT&T's firmware. I want the unbranded firmware. So in the region, I'm going to type the region code of XAA. Okay. So we're going to click on the check update button. And as you can see, boom. It finds the latest version, which is Oreo, for the unbranded firmware for the unlocked Galaxy Note 8. Now, you might have to change the model number if you have a different phone. If you have an S8, S8 Plus, you will have to change the model number and or the region. Okay, I'm going to have some models and regions in the description if you need help with that. But after we click check for update and it finds the latest update, all we do is press download, and it's going to automatically save in documents, which is fine for me. So I'm just going to click save. And now it's going to begin downloading the files. So right now it's just a waiting game. You have to wait until it's done. And once that's done, I will be back. Okay, now it's decrypting the firmware. Just a few more moments here. Okay, so the decryption finished. Now if we go to our documents folder, we have a zip file with the firmware here. So that zip file, we need to extract that. Right click, extract all. So we can extract the firmware and get it ready for flashing in Odin. Alright, there we go. We have our firmware files. Now, going back to what I said earlier, I'm flashing unbranded firmware to my carrier branded phone. So that means I will have to use the modded Odin 3.13. So I'm going to open up the modded Odin, double click on the application, and nope, we're going to have to run anyway. It's fine. Okay. So same process. We load up the firmware files, BL. We open up that extracted firmware we downloaded. Choose the BL file, AP, and then AP file. And we do the same for CP and CSC. Now, I recommend that you don't use the home CSC. I recommend that you use the regular CSC so it can factory reset and erase everything. That way, it doesn't cause any issues when the Oreo firmware boots up. And in that case, you would want to back up your phone before you actually use the CSC file. If for some reason you want to keep all your data on the phone, then you would use the home CSC to keep your data after the flash. But for me, I'm going to use the regular CSC. I just want to wipe everything and start clean. That way I don't have any problems. So using the regular CSC, and there we go. Alright, so now we need to prep the phone. We have to have the phone powered off. Once the phone is powered off, we would want to hold the volume down key, the Bixby key, and then while holding down the Bixby key and the volume down key, press and hold the power button. And then you should get a screen that says warning, a custom OS can cause critical problems in phone, etc., etc. After you see that screen, you can release those buttons and then press the volume up button once to continue into download mode. Now once you get that arrow pointing down that says downloading, go ahead and plug your phone into the computer. You will see it recognized in this first slot, COM3. Your COM may be different, but as long as it's recognized, that's all that matters. Then we click on start, and that will start the flash to your phone. Let's give this a few moments. Alright, so you get the pass. The phone will reboot into recovery. If you use the regular CSC file, it will reboot into recovery and factory reset the phone, then reboot once more, then boot right back into the OS. And that's all to it, to flash your phone with the Oreo. Now, once again, to recap, once you install the USB drivers, you open up the SamFirm to download the firmware that you need. You make sure this is set to auto, make sure check CRC32 is checked off, decrypt automatically is checked. We type in the model, we type in the region code, check for update. It will find the latest, always the latest, and you click download. It'll download the zip file with the firmware. You extract that zip file, you put those firmware files into the Odin, and you flash away. And that's all to it. If you have any questions, please comment. Thanks for watching, guys.